he has come under this accusation that he's acting like Bush. In some ways, he betrayed the promises of his campaign rhetoric that he was going to change the war on terrorism. And his people, though, would push back against that. And so part of what I'm doing in this book is going behind the scenes to one of these legal dilemmas after another,
Right.
what's happening in the world that these people are arguing about, and why is it important to pay attention to the lawyering, and what do we learn about Obama from that perspective. And one of the insights that arises is that this is an extremely lawyerly administration, made up of lawyers extremely interested in legal authority and putting constraints and recognizing sources of power, the power that they're going to exercise. And in hindsight, now we see something that was not as clear at the time during the Bush years, that there were two different strands of criticism among the left and some on the right of what Bush and Dick Cheney were doing after 9/11. There was a civil liberties critique, and there was a rule of law critique. So the civil liberties critique says the state shouldn't have the power to do these things to individuals.
To collect this information,
without going
conduct
to
a surveillance, right.
That's right, without going to a judge or to put someone on trial in a military court without all the usual rights associated with it.
And the legal argument is that you don't have the right to, as opposed to you shouldn't be.
Maybe this is the right policy, maybe not, but you can't break the law to do it. And Bush was saying, I'm the commander-in-chief, I can blow through statutes. The lawyerly mindset is overwhelmingly on the rule of law critique. So when Congress passes statutes in the second term of the Bush administration and early in Obama to authorize rather than forbid these things, the lawyerly mindset says, I'm not acting like Bush. The problem is solved. Acting like Bush means breaking the law. Not
this is now the law.
That's right.
So the net effect for the American may not be any different. In other words, some of the same surveillance takes place, some of the same national security activities take place, but this administration, this lawyerly administration of Obama, has created a construct within which it's legal that was arguable about the Bush administration.
I mean, it's a sort of striking way to put it. I think they would argue, well, there's more oversight now. You have judges looking at what's going on. There's not going to be abuses, or it's going to reduce the chances of it.
Right.
But in some essential way, what you're saying is correct. And that's where this disconnect arises, where you have the ACLU and civil liberties groups on the left and the right saying, what are you doing?
Right. If you're a civil libertarian, these are both bad for you. They're bad in different ways, but they're both bad. Both administrations' approaches.
Well, certainly that you find a lot to criticize, and part of the great question was people expected Obama to change these things, and they maybe overthought what was going to change. They thought we just weren't going to do military commissions at all anymore. We weren't going to have warrantless surveillance at all anymore, even if Congress had authorized it.
What they got was, we're not going to do these things without a completely airtight legal structure around them.
That's right. And the fact that you have now a Democratic, liberal administration as well as a conservative Republican administration who both say the post-9/11 world needs this stuff has sort of drained it of partisan controversy, made it normalized it, entrenched it. This is what the country is going to be like going forward.